Yes or no?
Yes.
The Constitution.
This song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant. That's just the name of the song. That's why I called the song Alice's Restaurant. Now, it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago, 2 years ago, on Thanksgiving, when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live in the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower, with her husband Ray and Fasha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs, where the pews used to be, and having all that room, seeing as how they took out all the pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. So we get up here and found all the garbage in there, and we decided that it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the city dump. Well, we got there, and there's a big sign and a chain across the dump saying, "This dump is closed on Thanksgiving." And we never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before, and with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset, looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one till we came across the side road, and off the side of the side road was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage. And we decided that one big pile was better than 2 little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. And that's what we did. Drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep, and didn't get up till the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obi. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and I just wanted to know if you had any information about it." I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this is happening. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers, 3 police cars, and being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in on the newspaper story about it. And they were using all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plastered tire tracks, footprints, dog smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. They took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obi said he was gonna put us in a cell. He said, "Kid, I'm gonna need to put you in a cell. I want your wallet and your belt." I said, "Obi, I can understand you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend in the cell. But why do you want my belt for?" And he said, "Kid, we don't want any hangings." I said, "Obi, did you think I was gonna hang myself for littering?" And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obi. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obi for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter, and he said that we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go and speak to him at the police officer station. So we get in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there's only one of 2 things that Obi could have done at the police officer station, and the first was that he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. And the other thing was that he could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around in the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted upon, and we were both immediately arrested, handcuffed, and I said, "Obi, I can't pick up the garbage with these here handcuffs on." He said, "Shut up, kid, and get in the back of the patrol car." And that's what we did. We sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. Obi said he was making sure, and friends was, because he took out toilet seats so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown, and he took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll the toilet paper out the window, slide down the road, have an escape. Obi was making sure. It was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? There's a song about Alice. Alice came by and with a few nasty words to Obi on the side, bailed us out of jail, and we went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, and didn't get up until the next morning, when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down, Obi came in with 27 8x10 glossy photo pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, sat down. Man came in, said, "All rise." We all stood, and Obi stood up with the 27 8x10 glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down. The CNI dog, and he sat down. We sat down. Obi looked at the CNI dog, and then at the 27 8x10 glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and paragraph on the back of each one, and looked at the CNI dog, and then the 27 8x10 glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and began to cry. Because Obi came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. And the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each, explaining which the one used against us. And we was fined $50, and we had to pick up the garbage in the snow. That's not what I'm here to tell you all about. I'm here to tell you all about the draft. They got a building down in New York City called the Whitehall Street, where when you walk in, you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went down and got my physical examination one day, and I walked in, sat down, got a good and drunk the last night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in the morning, because I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York City. And I walked in, sat down, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I walked in, sat down, they gave me a piece of paper that said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist room 604. I went up and said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burnt bodies, I mean kill." And I started jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill! Kill!" And he started jumping up and down with me, and we were both jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill! Kill! Kill!" The sergeant came by over, pinned a medal on me, and sent me down to the hall. He said, "You're our boy." Didn't feel too good about it. Proceeded down the hall, getting more injunctions, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they were doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I was there for a good long time through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I was just having a tough time there. And they was inspecting, injection, every single part of me. And they were leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through, and I finally came up to the very last man. I walked in, sat down after a whole big thing there. I walked up and I said, "What do you want?" He said, "Kid, we only got one question. You ever been arrested?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre with full orchestration and 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and other phenomena. He stopped me right there and said, "Kid, have you ever been to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. He stopped me right there and said, "Kid, I want you to go over and sit down on that bench there. It says Group W." And I walked over to the bench there, and there's Group W. Is where they put you if you may not be immoral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. There was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there. There's mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers sitting right next on the bench next to me. And they was mean, nasty, and ugly, and horrible, and crime-fighting guys were sitting there on the bench. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest, one of the meanest father raper of them all was coming over to me, and he was mean and ugly and nasty and horrible and all kinds of things. And he sat down next to me and said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." He said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there with the hairy eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty things. Till I said, "Ain't creating a nuisance." And then they all came back, shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father rape, and all kinds. A group of things that we were talking about on the bench, and everything was fine. We were smoking cigarettes and all kinds of things until the sergeant came by. Over, had some paper in his hands, held it up and said, "Kid, this piece of paper got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words. We want to know details of the crime to the time of the crime and other nice things to say pertaining to all the crime, and I want to know anything, officer's name, and any kind of things you said." And he talked for 45 minutes, and no one understood a word that he said. But we had a fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there. I filled out the Massacre with the 4-part harmony, wrote it down there just like it was, and everything was fine. I put down my pencil and I turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, way down everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters quoted read the following words: "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" I went over to the sergeant and said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of goddamn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I mean that you send... I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids, and houses in villages after being a litter bug." He looked at me and said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. We're gonna send your fingerprints off to Washington." And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some kind of little folder, there's a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you this song now is because you may know someone in a similar situation, or you may be in a similar situation, and if you're in a situation like that, there's only one thing you can do. Walk right into the shrink wherever you are. Walk in and say, "Shrink, can you get anything you want? Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant," and walk out. You know, if one person, just one person does it, they may think he's real sick and they won't take him. But if 2 people do it, in harmony, they may think you're a bunch of weirdos and won't take either of them. And if 3 people do it, can you imagine 3 people walking in, singing a bar of Alice's restaurant and walking out? They may think it's an organization. And can you imagine 50 people a day? I said 50 people a day walking in, singing a bar of Alice's restaurant and walking out. Friends, they may think it's a movement, and that's what is the Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre movement. And all you gotta do is join in and sing it, and next time it comes around on the guitar, with feeling. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half mile around the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
Encore!
We're expecting it to drag down, like, after the 3rd page, but thanks, guys.
Let's go!
Realize you need...
That's just a script printed out 3 times.
Oh, that's disappointing. I mean, we can just use blood. I got it.
That's what's blocking his door.
Did you write that?
Alright, so Sujuker and Zach. So let's rank them. Yeah. Are you a judge, Julia?
No.
Who are they? Is it
just us?
No. Do you also have Susan as advisor?
Hey. Rank him out of 10, and then we'll meet up later.
Johnny, how dare you be on your phone when you're supposed to be available?
I do not have that much endurance for that.
What?
Johnny, why'd you take the position?
Yeah, 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. Give them the ranking, and then we'll meet up at the end and tally it all up.
Yeah.
Alright, do we have a volunteer to go next?
He's my political rival, so I can't. Like, I'm sorry.
Shoot
me down. You're good. Come on, guys.
Alright, go! You don't want to touch it.
Alright, Ed, you better impress.
We'll pick something good.
So what's going on?
Do you know Nevermore?
Sure.
We have
Oh, wait, no.
Free Bird.
Who's he?
Play Wonderwall.
And Dom.
Play Through the Fire and Flames.
No, everyone knows that one.
So you got names, I got what the acts are.
I mean, one of the first things I was telling you about media results.
Tucker.
I actually took the test again last night. Yeah.
Okay,
Ed, what is your username?
oh my
Dude,
god,
I'm gonna give you a...
that's my high school.
I'm gonna give you a...
I don't want to...
Do you need technical help?
8, 4, 5. I know a guy that, yes. Are you still, are you
You never, yeah. You guys never fixed my freaking Ethernet in my room.
Oh, that's not us. I'm just going to start. I just sort of point. Scrolling index. I only work on.
But do we know we're still in the microwave yet? Was it UCSA?
Floor 2. It was floor 2.
We don't do
Floor
mic.
2. Fuck floor 2. Fuck floor 5. Fuck floor. It's not. I heard Brandon's the one that came up with that. FFF. Fuck floor 5.
Nice.
Aw.
Wait.
Are they about